Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started here. My name is Jordan Soper with Family First Life. I was asked by Sean Mike and Andrew Taylor and some of the corporate staff to go over a couple things that I'm doing with Americo, which is a company that I do a little bit of business with. I like their products. I like some of the things that they do. I like what they stand for. So I'm going to get into kind of some of the specifics and reasons why I use them. First of all, I just wanted to say thanks for having me on. Anytime I'm able to share and kind of give back, it's a huge honor. And hopefully I can add a little value, and some of the sales that you have, this week, out of a stack of 10 leads, you can get a couple extra sales by going through some of this stuff. So, the first thing is that, I'm not doing anything special or anything unique. I'm first of all, just following the system, and if you do the numbers, it's going to work out. It doesn't matter what company you're writing with and what you're illustrating. Everybody we work with is a great company. If you're running the numbers, it's going to happen. I'm not doing anything outside of that. I have been very consistent and been able to, make a couple $100,000 each year since day one when I started with Family First Life, selling insurance. So I'm going to go through kind of some of these things that I'm doing and reasons why I'm using Americo. The first thing is adding a lot of value. When I meet with clients and somebody fills out a card, they're concerned about protecting their family. I'm not concerned about the amount of premium. I'm not concerned what I'm going to get out of this. I'm trying to add value. Think about that. I mean, when you're in the home, everything that you're thinking about should be how to add value. And some of the things that Americo has is very unique and makes it very easy in order for you to accomplish that. So first off, who are we working with? As far as the strength, some of our companies may or may not have heard of Americo. $6 billion in surplus. What that means, if all their clients die tomorrow, they'd have $66 billion left over. Okay. So they're not going anywhere. Most of it is in bonds. 95% is in fixed income, investment grade bonds. They're an A-rated company by A&B Best. That's the outside firm that audits their financials. Okay. 100-year-old company. They were started in 1909. Okay. 28 billion in in-force policies. So we're talking about a very, very large company, and it's nice to be able to kind of come into a family's house and have a company that has so much strength and so much history that it's not just Joe's Insurance, it's Americo, and they're a 100-year-old company. As far as some of the products and some of the things that I really like about them is the uniqueness. Okay. I call it like complicating the sale. I don't know if you guys have ever been in that home where it's like they have so many moving parts to their policies. It's like you can't really even do anything with it. You can't replace it. You can't, because it's just like so much happening. Okay. And so, obviously you get into a house and it's like a 30-year term. It's just, if your 30-year term is different than, so I'm not a big replacement person, but I want to set things up so that the person that's coming in behind me, if it's, the giant whale, that's, in the ocean, or Snoopy, or, Abe Lincoln, or some of the other companies that are coming in behind me, I want to set up these landmines to make sure that my client has the proper protection with me and, hopefully Americo. So, a couple things that I do and that I like. So the 25-year cashback option is very unique in the marketplace. What that does is it allows a client to get all of their money back in 25 years. Well, guess what? Most of the clients that we work with, they have a 30-year loan. So not only am I able to show them how they're going to get all their money back, I'm also able to show them how they can get their money back sooner and pay off their loan sooner. Okay, so you can go to Carl's calculator. There's a lot of amortization schedules that are out there, but I'm illustrating that. So I'm showing it in real time, like how much are they going to owe in 25 years? And this is the amount of money that they're going to be getting back. Okay. That's unique. That's a lot different than the other person that's going to come in and show them a 30-year because they have a 30-year loan. they're going to remember, they're going to go, oh, wait, but we're paying off the loan sooner. Why would we want to do that? Okay. So you're already halfway there just by doing that. Okay. Add in living benefits. This is a very, very strong part of this HMS portfolio that they have that, a lot of times the drama happens, financial drama is not necessarily when somebody dies, it's before that. Okay. It's cancer, it's a stroke, it's, you name it. And so depending on your state, you do some research on it, but in most states, they have a critical illness rider. What that is exactly as it sounds. Something major happens, they have access to cash. And so when I'm sitting down with a client, I'm like, you're like most people I sit with, you don't have a couple $100,000 in a slush fund, right? And they'll agree. And so what this is going to allow you to do, because 25 years is a long time, if something does happen, we have access to cash, okay? And that could be a godsend, okay? The other thing is that it's going to start accumulating some cash, okay, inside of it. So you're kind of building like an emergency fund. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in 5 years, but down the line, let's say 20 years or something, you got to put a new roof on. There is some money that's accumulated. Obviously, that's going to reduce the amount of money that you're getting at the end of it, but there's cash that's there, okay? So the other thing that's really neat about Americo is their e-apps, okay? It's actually going to run the script check right there. So if for whatever reason, the client doesn't tell you about, that one surgery I had, okay? Yeah, that is important, okay? Yeah, we can't do this. We have to, pivot to final expense. If it comes up in the application, you're going to see it right there. So Americo is going to tell you, it's not going to work. And then at that point, when you're sitting with your client, you're right there. You're able to put something else together that makes sense. Maybe a different company, probably a different company, but you're able to pivot. So that's huge, because the reality is a week from now, you sit down with that client and it didn't work. You're never getting back into the house. It's not going to work. So the power of being able to have that instant decision and run the script checks are right there. Very clean design. Everything is very, very smooth. The apps are super fast and clean. So definitely would recommend doing the e-app. I would also highly recommend to have paper apps, okay, in your state. So get the Ultra Protector. So that's kind of the answer for the Eagle Premier, which would be the final expense line. And then HMS, just get an application for them. So have a couple of those on deck so that you have internet issues, you have, the site's down, there's some update or something. I'm not putting anything to gamble and trying to come back there tomorrow or whatever, because, it's just not going to happen. So make sure that you have the proper paper applications. So now when I do the financial inventory, I'm doing a very, very, very strong financial inventory. I'm getting all of the information up front. As far as, what kind of monies are they making, all of the medications there, I'm going over it, backwards, forward, asking them multiple different ways so I can pull all of that information. Because the last thing I want to do is switch gears, during the part where I'm kind of showing them the numbers or having to switch to something else. If I have to do it, I will, but I'm doing a very, very good financial inventory. I'm asking them, have they ever had any medical conditions? Have they, in the last 10 years, have they had any overnight stays in the hospital? Blood disorders, high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes, just going through all that stuff. Have they taken anything out of you? Have they put anything into you? Going through all that stuff to make sure you get that. So when I show them the price, okay, we go through it, and whatever's working for you works. I'm not going to kind of get into like the sales part of it, but I'm showing them something that makes sense. I'm adding as much value as I possibly can and doing top-down selling. So I'm showing them the Whopper with cheese, the best possible program, the HMS 150, okay? So and the reason why I do the 150 is because it adds so much value. A $250,000 program, it's going to be 50% more if they died in an accident, okay? So that's $375,000 of coverage of total benefit. Why is that important? Because when people are younger, the chance of them dying in an accident is higher, okay? So, we can't completely forget about natural causes because 10, 15, 20 years from now, that's how people die, okay? But in the meantime, when the loan is the highest, when the risk is the highest, we're able to mitigate and mollify the risk by having the accidental in place. So, when I'm adding the value to that, they see that and it makes sense. I'm asking for the driver's license, okay? It fits the budget, they understand it, we've went through a process there. If it doesn't, I'm reading their cues. I mean, if they're just like way over this, I'll cut it in half, I'll do whatever I need to do. If they're kind of like, I think we could probably make this work. I think I'm like, guys, look, it's supposed to be something real comfortable, and I'm knocking off, maybe 50,000 or something. And what you'll find is you'll get that sweet spot that when you show it to them, they'll go, you know what, right there, that's what exactly makes sense. Great, I need your driver's license, okay? So when I'm getting into the e-application, what I like to do is, get their driver's license, start filling in some of the information. And this is just kind of a pro tip. When I get a little ways into it and I ask for the check, I ask them, who do they want this money to go to? Okay. So if it's their daughter, if it's a spouse, I get all the spelling, I get all that stuff. And then, because that's the emotional section. I mean, we're talking about $375,000 going to their spouse or whoever that they pick. Right after that, I go, okay, great. So I just need a voided check. And they'll go up and get it. A lot of times it'll be the person sitting right next to them that's, the beneficiary, right? So other than that, I kind of just go through the order, but that's one kind of little sweet spot or just an easy way for the transition in the sale to make sure that we're getting the voided check, we're getting the prescription medication, we're getting the license. So the last thing here is solidifying the sale. Okay. I think that's really, really important. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've had no complaints. I've had no issues with carriers. I've had no clients, saying that there was some issue. It's always strange when I hire agents and they're like, there's 2 complaints or something in like the first 3 months. I'm like, I've been doing this for like 11 years and I haven't had any complaints. So there's something you're doing. Okay. There's something you're communicating. So here's 2 things I would just strongly recommend. And this is going to help you for chargebacks. This is going to help you for, just communicating clearly to your clients. I'm a closer. When I'm in the house, I'm thinking about getting this client protection. Anything that we can do to make this thing work so that I'm walking out of the house and I know that if something happens, this family's protected. Okay. That's the most important part. If it's $500 a month, if it's $5 a month, it doesn't matter. Okay. But when I get to the end of it, I want to make sure that there's no question on what exactly we're doing. So I'm going to go over the process with them before I leave. Okay. So I solidified everything, kind of winding down. I'm packing up my bag and I said, okay, guys, look, so let me get your attention. Let me go over this so there's no confusion. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to send in an application, and one of 2 things are going to happen. It's either going to get approved, okay, or it's not going to get approved. If it doesn't get approved, no big deal. I'll call you. We'll pick a different company or not do it. If it does get approved, they'll draft the first month premium for $476.92. And about a week later, you'll receive the policy in the mail. It won't come the next day. It takes about a week. They got to put your name on it. They got to mail it to you. At that period of time, you have a 90-day change period. So if you do want to make any changes, no big deal. Call me. We can do it. It's risk-free, okay? And just call me directly. You can obviously call the company. And that's where I leave it. So they get that very clear language, no confusion. Okay. The last thing I want to do is when I leave, I go, you know what? And by the way, guys, this is obviously your program, not my program. And I understand that, things do change. If you want to make any changes to this, fine. Like I said, it's your program. But what I would strongly recommend is, if we got to put a new roof on, maybe some hours get cut back, we have some other kind of expenses that come up, is something's better than nothing. So we got you approved with Americo, which is one of the top companies in the country. They're going to do a really, really good job for you. They're doing all the things, we're getting the money back. We're paying the house off sooner. We have the cash in case something major happens, right? Call me. Okay, so for a couple months or a couple years or what have you, we got to let some air out of this thing. We got to take it from $400 down to $200. No big deal. We can do that. Okay, but what I would strongly recommend is keeping the program and just reducing it. For one, health kind of tends to do a downward curve, not an upward. We're older. The chance of you getting the policy even approved, in a couple years is a little bit dwindled. So, let me know and we can do everything that you would need to do to make this thing work. So with that, Americo is a very, very strong and good company. I'd definitely have it in your bag. The HMS series is a very good one for high face amounts, because you can do the HMS 150. What I try to do is just stay in that wheelhouse. I think that provides the most benefit for clients, because the reality is that the chance of them dying in an accident is very, very high. Okay. And so when they incorporate that together, they're able to not only get a higher total face amount, but when we incorporate the return of premium or the cashback option, they're able to get all that money back. So as opposed to doing something on the side, an accidental with a different company and whatnot, they're not getting that money back. It's just throwing it out the window. So even if it's like $30 to get $250,000 with a different company, that money's just gone. Okay. Whereas with this, it's a strategy that we're paying off the house sooner. We're getting all of the money back. And then you add in the living benefits. It's like, it's a no-brainer. With the Eagle Premier, very, very, very strong program as well. They have the e-apps. They're getting paid so fast. I just wrote one a couple days ago. It was literally like a day and a half, and it just hit the bank account. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your week. Make the dials, and if you are hitting your numbers, as far as the appointments, you're definitely going to hit your numbers and your issue paid. All right, guys, take care.